Hello and welcome to the first episode of our video here called It's All About Missions. And you're wondering, okay, so why is this called It's All About Missions? Very simple. Basically, every week, maybe a couple times a week, maybe every other week, as a king, we're going to be putting out a video, and all it's going to be about is missions. And so I did not come up with this ingenious title. That goes to my wife. I was trying to come up with some grand, great, alliterated title, and I kept telling her, this is just going to be just all about missions. And she's like, well, there you go. There's your title. So just so you know that this video is going to be it's all about missions. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Brady Van Winkle. And my wife and I, we are church planners to the country of Turkey. And my whole life since I was 13, I knew God wanted me to be involved in missions. And so my desire with this video here is to get other people interested in missions and see that truthfully, if you read the Bible, as you read the Bible, that God has one heart, and that heart is missions, that the world would be saved. And so I desire as we go through these videos to look in the Bible, look at verses, and to challenge us about what part you can have, what we can do to help reach the world with the gospel. Because truthfully, the purpose of the church, the purpose of a Christian, it really is all about missions. Our life should be, what can we do to get the gospel around the world? What part can I have in sharing the gospel with people who have never heard? Our ministry verse, and my really life verse now, is 2 Corinthians 4, verse 3. The verse says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. I love this verse because it just, to me, says this: Brady, if you are not being the testimony you should be, if you are not being the witness you should be, you're not hiding that from other Christians, you're not hurting other Christians, you're hurting people that are lost and on their way to hell. When I read that verse, it broke my heart because there have been times where I was just thinking about Brady, I was just thinking about myself and not sharing the gospel like I should. It broke my heart and saying, Brady, we've got to start sharing the gospel. We've got to be letting our gospel not be hid. And so that is my heart and my desire. And with our ministry and us going and taking the gospel all around the world, our desire is that our gospel wouldn't be hid, but that the people that are lost, people who have never heard before, would have the chance to hear the gospel. My challenge to you as a Christian is this: are you hiding your gospel? Do people know that you're a Christian? Do people know that you're saved? Do they know that Christ and God has completely changed your life, or you just sit in the back and you never really said anything? Because if that's you, then it's time to step out and start sharing the gospel. Stop hiding your gospel. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven, the Bible says in Matthew. And we should be doing that. Our lives should be lived so that others can see that there's a difference in us and that we are Christians, that we are saved. Because you see, as we live out the gospel, as we share the gospel, as we don't hide the fact that we're saved and that we're Christians, that we know that heaven's our home, then we're able to easily share that with others. And as they hear the gospel, they can come to Christ and they can be saved as well. And yes, missions is important. Getting the gospel all around the world is important. But I want to challenge you today that it starts right where you are. So in whatever town, whatever city, whatever place you're living, that is where your mission, where you're living out the gospel starts. Now, hopefully that's not where it ends. Hopefully that God would have a way in your life that he would direct you to take the gospel all around the world to people who've never heard. But I want to challenge you to start where you are. Start sharing the gospel with your coworkers, with your friends, with your neighbors, with the people you meet at the grocery store, at the gas station, wherever you are. Don't let your gospel be hid. Be a beacon of light in a dark world. Because Satan hath blinded the minds, is what the next verse says, of the world. He's blinded this world, and they are blind in many false religions and many false beliefs and many things. But we have the truth. What are we going to do to get the gospel to a lost and dying world? I want to challenge you over the next few weeks as we have these videos to stay tuned and see how truthfully it is all about missions and what you can do, what part you can play in helping to get the gospel all around the world, what part you as a Christian can have and you as an individual has to completely change the world. And I hope maybe that God would use this in some way to challenge some young people, to challenge some people to step out of their comfort zone and go all around the world and go to places where people have never heard the gospel. Remember this: if our gospel be hid, it's in them that are lost. So my challenge this week to you is this. Are you hiding your gospel? Are you hiding the fact that you're a Christian? Or are you sharing it? Are you living a life where people can't help but see that there's something different about you, and that difference is Christ? Just want to challenge you, don't hide your gospel. And I hope you'll join us each week as we bring these videos and talk about missions. And some of the videos will be as simple as this, just a short, brief message or devotional from the Bible. I'm hoping to do some on countries of the week, talking about needs around the world as we can see the countries and to know more about countries and know how to better pray for these countries and know how to better reach these countries. And also I'm hoping that sometime to have some different interviews with missionaries and missions people who have impacted my life, and maybe even do some biographies and talk about some of the people that I've read about and some great missionaries of the past. Stay tuned. You do not want to miss this, because I think God could use this in your life and in my life. And I'm excited to talk to you all about missions, because my heartbeat, just like the heartbeat of God, is that the world would reach the gospel. I want to challenge you today. What are you going to do to help reach a world that is on their way to hell? What part will you play in reaching the world with the gospel? Let's see the world reach with the gospel in this generation.